Jenny here, and it is the beginning of the year. It's the time where lots of clients and people are asking me about how do we, define what we want to do this year? How do we set our goals? How do we kind of, figure out how we're going to be successful? How do we turn our vision into reality? This, I think, comes up a lot at the beginning of the year, and not just for like a business, not just business goals, but also kind of your own goals. Like, how do you really define success? And I have some things to say about that. So I'm going to first bring up my board because I think that the way most people think about goal setting and their vision for the future is they think about it pretty one-dimensionally. And that is the way I tend to think about it is they think about it in the terms of like the physical reality of things. Like, this is the goal line. What do I really want to achieve this year? And those can be things like, I want to achieve better health. I want to achieve more revenue in my business. I want to achieve more profits. I want to achieve better outcomes for my clients. I want to get a promotion in my role. There's all kinds of things in physical reality that we as human beings, we're ambitious. We want to achieve things in the future. Okay. And these are things that are on the goal line. The thing is that life, even in business, but our lives as individuals are not just one-dimensional on the goal line. For me, it took me quite a long time to learn this. Like, it took me some decades, and having to, for me, get a master's in spiritual psychology to kind of finally understand that my well-being, how I am inside myself, my well-being is not here. How I'm feeling about things is not on this goal line. There will never be enough outcomes, enough success here to fulfill me on this goal line. Instead, we have a second line that we call the leadership line. Also very much think of it as the learning line or the inner soul line. So this is where another way to say it is the B line, like who we want to be. How do I really want to show up? What do I want to experience? And that is on this line, this leadership line. So when we're thinking about goals, and this is I think the super important part, most people go straight to what I want to achieve this year. And what we need to do either simultaneously, or I think of it as even first, is really talk about who do we want to be this year? What do we want to contribute to the world? What do we want to experience? What kinds of things do I want to provide myself and my family and my business and my friends? Another way of saying it is, what kind of values do I want to really be living, right? What is going to be my internal state, the thing that I am proud of inside of me about who I am that is not on this goal line? It's like, who do I want to be regardless of how the goal line turns out? Okay, so for me, these are things like, I want to bring much more compassion to my clients, my relationships, my family, so that the people that are with me and that work with me can experience more compassion and joy and gratitude in their lives, right? And I want that for myself too. I want to live a life in lots of compassion, lots of gratitude. Okay, that's my internal state. What else? The other kinds of things I want to contribute to the world. On this leadership line, I am very much a lifelong learner. I love learning new things, thinking up new models, making things easier to understand for my clients. Like that's a big value of mine, is to, to things I want to provide, is to clarify what the heck is really going on here in this business world and the human world, and how to bring them together effectively, because it's not easy. Okay. So these are the kinds of things that I really am going for all the time in my life. Not that I can achieve it every day, because certainly there are some days where I'm not feeling gratitude and compassion. There are days where, I can have situations that go badly on this goal line, that go in a direction that I didn't want them to go. And that can bring up some feelings of blame, judgment, criticism, often self-criticism. But again, my anchor is up here. And so when I'm experiencing something like self-blame, I can quickly go to a place of compassion and remember that business is hard. Life is hard. It's, I forgot who called it the whole catastrophe. Ambitious people, we tend to have lives that have, like, the whole catastrophe. I've got a blended family of 4 kids and a business and a mom who's not that well and who's living with us. We got 4 dogs. Oh my gosh, it's just, it's full. and and for sure, things in life don't always go positively on the goal line. That's like, it's not even an option. Okay. Not to say that we don't have goals. So, and not to say that we won't experience some really hard times where, where we aren't being able to kind of hold our values, demonstrate our values and how we show up. But we can know that that our anchor point is in this quadrant. Okay. So the first thing we really want to define is who, who do I want to be? That really is the first thing. That's all about this leadership line. Who do I want to be? And the second thing, after we get a bit about this, then the second thing is, what do I want to achieve? If we don't start with this, who do I want to be, this part gets to be a, how would I say, an unrealistic wish list. This can turn into like a list of like lottery items. I want my business to triple. I want I want my kids to come home a bunch of times and tell me how great I am as a mom this year. I want all kinds of things. I want my dogs to not go inside the house when it rains. So there's all kinds of things I want to achieve. Okay. And the thing is that what will ground me is in the who do I really want to be, so that when I'm choosing these goals, I can center in, why do I really want this? That's the thing. This leadership line, that's maybe a good way to think about it. This is really your why in life. This is my why. This goal line is the what. The goal line is the what, meaning, what does it look like when I'm achieving my why? So if I want to bring more compassion to myself and others, it's a big why of mine, what does it look like? So in my world, one, it looks like developing relationships with my kids where I do a lot more listening than talking. I do, less advice giving. I really reflect back to them what they're going through so they can find more self-compassion, right? So it's a relationship, and it is on this what line. I want a better relationship with my kids that demonstrates more compassion. For my business, the same. What do I want? I do want to grow my business. so that I can bring more of these compassionate leadership skills to my clients. I want that. Okay. One of the things about grounding it in these kinds of values is it also helps me when the goal line doesn't go as expected. It's like these goals, they can shift because what we think they're going to look like may turn out differently than what they actually look like. Right? It's like having a goal. Let's say you have a goal for the year of tripling your business. If that's your goal, for most businesses, I'll just say that may be easy for your business. For most businesses I work with, that would be a very, a big stretch goal, super stretch, very difficult to achieve. Okay. And if they judge their performance, if they judge themselves, if they evaluate themselves based on if they tripled their business, meaning they failed if they didn't, that's going to be a disaster. That is going to send them, into the self-protection line. That's going to send them sort of down an emotional spiral. Because that is, having a very hard number goal like that is a what, but it's not anchored in any why. What we're going to need is, why do you want to grow your business? Why triple the revenue this year? What does it provide? Certainly, it can provide more financial gains for sure. And one of your values could definitely be living a life of, that is secure enough financially that you can provide for yourself and your family. Great. Love that. But you're going to have to make these work together. And that financial security may show up differently than tripling your business. It may be that you're only going to grow your business 20% this year, but you're going to be way better with your costs. And in that way, you're going to bring more financial security. So goals on their own don't mean much. It's like we've really got to know what is behind them. Why do you want to achieve these goals? It's like, what do you get out of it inside? Who do you get to be if you achieve these goals? And that's the part that I really feel strongly that the business world often, gets wrong. That they're often really so focused on this goal line, evaluating everybody on this goal line, that we aren't living, we aren't building the kind of business that can actually be successful now and into the future. Because if you have goals that we're just going for plain old goals without the values behind them, we wind up in this critic zone. I've talked about that on another podcast, where this right here, where when our goals are going okay, but internally we're not in a good place, we're not living our values, in this quadrant, things are never good enough. And we can't think straight. And we can't be in a good place inside ourselves, and it sends us in the wrong direction, where we wind up in kind of the failure box. Feels bad, is going badly. So it is so important, even in business, that we understand why we're going for these goals. What's the point? Certainly financial is a thing, but it's not only financial. And it's not financial without some real basis, some real valuable foundation underneath it. This is the thing that also keeps us going when things don't go well. Because we're not going just for a goal. We're going for a bigger thing of who we get to be, what we get to provide the world, the people around us, to provide ourselves on this leadership line. So that's what I wanted to share today. I hope it helps. And And I hope that you get to spend some time on your own definition of success. And remember to start with, who do you want to be? What are your whys? What do you want to experience more of this year before you actually set your goals?
What's your leadership superpower? Visit leadingedgeteams.com/quiz to take our leadership assessment quiz and find out.